Comic Book Yeti presents Kickstart My Heart.
Hey everybody, this is Byron O'Neal, Media Editor for Comic Book Yeti, back again with another installment of your mom's favorite YouTube show, Kickstart My Heart, where I break down a few of the amazing active crowdfunding comics campaigns you don't want to miss this month. Damn, that's some alliteration. Crowdfunding comics campaigns. Crowdfunding comics campaigns. Say that 5 times real fast. Anyway, this month's offerings seem to pull on my heartstrings a little bit more than usual. That'll make more sense in a minute, but let's start off with something more lighthearted for the kiddos. But before we do that, I wanted to talk directly to the folks out there that are getting ready to launch a campaign. I do a fair bit of research each month looking at what I'd like to feature, but every single time someone who reaches out to me, I try to include somebody to get in who either direct messaged me or through the Comic Book Yeti website reached out. So you cannot be afraid to market your book. I won't bite, I promise. I won't get upset. I respect the hustle. See the hat? So just don't email me or anybody else 5 times about it because that pisses people off. All right? Great. All right, let's go. You tell me you got a kid's story with 2 friends getting into trouble. I'm pretty much immediately on board. I reached out to creator Dax Gordine to tell us, in his own words, about Filbert and Thomas, the main characters in his book Forest Folk.
Hi, I'm Dax Gordine, the creator of Forest Folk, the webcomic. This is an all-ages comic strip that revolves around 2 central characters, Filbert the Fox, who's a jokester and a know-it-all with a knack for finding trouble. He's got a best friend named Thomas, a happy-go-lucky elf who has a magic drawing quill that can conjure the solution to any of their woes, most of the time anyways. Forest Folk is a comic strip that I've been working on for the past 6 years, and it really heavily was influenced by the Sunday funnies of my childhood. Calvin and Hobbes, Garfield, and it's also been referenced to Looney Tunes, so it's a big smash up of all those kind of things, all my influences as a child. I love it, and I hope that you enjoy reading it as much as I enjoy making it.
There's something so pleasantly saccharine about this project. I always used to snag the comics section of my grandfather's Sunday paper growing up and curl up on the rug by the fire to devour them. So the nostalgia factor is hitting me pretty hard here. The book itself is 112 pages that showcases 105 strips from the webcomic series collected in the softcover format. The funding goal is smashed already, and it's ready to go to print. I might even have to pony up the cash for Filbert World Tour t-shirt that's available. Dax hit it on the head. If you're a fan of Calvin and Hobbes or Garfield, do not miss out. I'm a backer. Let's keep the band theme rolling with another great option for kids, but this one is a little bit unique. I was told as a kid never to play with my food, but Punk Taco kind of flips that script and has the food playing. Punk Taco is a lovable space taco who rocks out across the universe with his band, spreading peace and love with music while still finding time to battle evil bullies that he finds and help those in need. How can you not love this? It's a taco. What really drew me in here about this is that it's a father and son project, which has to be about as wholesome as it gets. This is funding Volume 2, and Volume 1 is already on its 3rd printing, having scored a Ringo Award for Best Kids Comic or Graphic Novel. The original pre-order of Punk Taco No. 2 has sold out, and the new Kickstarter campaign is attempting to raise enough money to increase the print run so that more readers can snag a copy. They're a little bit behind with their funding trajectory right now, and this project could use your help. As a backer and getting the project updates, Adam has thrown all kinds of perks in there, from including a copy of his Chuck D comic book that he worked out a long time ago, to doing some sketch stuff at certain buy-in levels. So this one would make a great gift. So make sure you get in. Okay, those heartstrings that got pulled that I promised, you thought it was with the kid book? No. This one remembers a giant in the medium and is a tribute to a friend. I remember Of Bitter Souls from way back when, and I know I got single issues sitting around in my parents' attic. Yes indeed, the cliche is real. But having the opportunity to get it all collected in one giant oversized 400-page omnibus is really pretty sweet. Sadly, the artist Norm Breyfogle is no longer with us. So I reached out to co-creator Chuck Satterley to tell us about Norm, their friendship, and why he wanted to bring this project back.
In 2018, the comic book world lost a giant. Arguably one of the greatest Batman artists of all time, Norm Breyfogle, passed away from a heart attack that stemmed from complications from a stroke he suffered a few years before. From Batman to Prime and even a bit of Archie, most of Norm's work was with larger publishers. But now, Norm's biggest body of work for an indie comic has been collected into the Of Bitter Souls omnibus as a hardcover 400-page behemoth, live now on Kickstarter. Of Bitter Souls is the story of four pretty bad folk who are given powers that directly augment their worst character flaws. Essentially, a story about stewardship. Of Bitter Souls is set in New Orleans and incorporates legends of the Crescent City, ghosts, spooks, ghouls, zombies, and more. Test the heroes as they grow in power and spirit. My name is Chuck Satterley, and I worked for 198 pages with Norm, 9 issues on this series, and by collecting it all in this omnibus, I'm excited to bring one of this comic book legend's largest bodies of work to a new generation of comic book readers. The Kickstarter is over 85% funded and ends in early May. Thank you.
It's a moving tribute to want to commemorate a friend like this, but the book is also pretty amazing. They got a lofty pledge goal and are almost there with just under 2 weeks to go, but it is kind of pricey to get a physical buy-in, but you got to remember it's 400 pages. So make sure you check it out. All right, next we're moving on over to Zoop. Zoop, that's fun to say. Anyway, where we got a hybrid illustrated light novel from writer Elise Russell and Danny Rivera, the illustrator on the book, dropping from new publishers on the scene, Band of Bards. I've always enjoyed an illustrated hybrid novel, from the more minimalistic artwork presentations of Fritz Leiber to more lush examples like Mike Mignola and Christopher Golan's Joe Gollum and the Drowned City collaboration. I've been following writer Elise Russell's work and development for about a year now on Twitter and was excited to see this concept released. I shot her a quick message asking about the inspiration for the book, and she was kind enough to reply. I love stories in every form. Books, comics, movies, video games, it all makes me happy. I write mostly prose and comic scripts, so combining the two to tell the same story just made sense. I also thrive on collaborating, so working with a creative team only enhances the production and makes the process more fulfilling. Sentience is a hybrid in almost every sense. It's a story in multiple formats, a story that straddles several genres, and a story that pulls together people from both the prose community and the comic scene. It's like a soup of creativity, and I love it that way. You know, from my perspective, who doesn't like soup? But in this case, the soup is a clockwork android assassin who delves into the shadowy secrets of her past and along the way fights spiders, humanoid spiders, which is freaking weird. Thinking driders. Anyway, witches, black market overlords. Yeah, it sounds pretty crazy, so we'll call it strawberry soup. Sounds a bit odd at first, but once you taste it, you'll never forget it. Now you want strawberry soup, don't you? Well, maybe do, maybe don't, but you'll want to check this out on Zoop. All right, the last project this month is also funding on Zoop. I always like to feature one anthology if I can find a good one hanging around, and Comics for Ukraine should pull you in right there with the title. I know it did me. Comics for Ukraine is a benefit anthology featuring a complete all-star lineup of comic book creators with all the proceeds being donated to the Ukrainian refugee relief efforts. There are 4 different covers, 1 hardcover and 3 soft covers you can choose from, signed editions, art prints, t-shirts, there's all kinds of crap. But I want to just take a moment here. You gotta see all the people that are contributing to this. Let's break this down. So we're going to talk about first the creators with covers on the project. So there's an Alex Ross hardcover. There's an Arthur Adams cover. There's a Dave Johnson cover. There's a Bill Sienkiewicz cover. Talk about decisions. Inside, there's a new Chew story, a Walt Simonson Starjammers original, an exclusive new Usagi Yojimbo, an original Grendel take from Matt Wagner, Groot, Jill Thompson, Howard Chaykin, Colleen Doran, Greg Hildebrandt, and many more. 96 pages of greatness to all help out the relief efforts in the Ukraine. The funding goal was absolutely obliterated on the first day, and it goes to print 3 months after the funding is completed. I think it's quadrupled at this point. They're what seemed like a lofty funding goal day one, but it's such a worthwhile project that I had to include it this month. I'm absolutely a backer. I hope you will be too. All right, folks, that's it for this month's episode of Kickstart My Heart. I hope you found some good things to spend your hard-earned cash on, and if not, just spreading the word is important. Indie comic creators need your help now more than ever with all the Twitter craziness and uncertainty that's happening right now. So make sure to find something. There's something out there for everybody. So just take a look and support independent comics. Our home, as always, is on YouTube, so make sure to hit that subscribe button down there to get notifications about new episodes and other great content from all of us at Comic Book Yeti. Thanks for watching us, and we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining us today for another episode of Kickstart My Heart, and thanks for watching. Make sure to check out our new comics podcast, Into the Comics Cave, a different take on comics interviews, wherever you get your podcasts.